Hey friends, it's Bob Ferngren, and I'm back with another video. And my videos are all on success and living a better life and all that. But this has been weighing me down the last 6 months. The financial crisis. I mean, we have a serious health crisis. We're not going to deny that. And I think you should look behind the numbers in the health crisis. But I'm here to talk about the financial crisis. Because let me ask you a question. Wherever you're responding on YouTube or IGTV or Facebook or wherever, LinkedIn, this will be on LinkedIn, wherever you're responding, would an extra $5,000 to $10,000 a month help you? That's a yes or no. Yes or no. Would an extra $5,000 to $10,000 a month help you? Would it help in a lot of ways? Sure. So what are you doing to do that? Some of you may be working very hard at your job. And you may have a job where you have like an excellent culture where you're actually rewarded for your efforts, not how much time you've been on the job, like in a tenured position, but your efforts produce more for your company, so your company shares those profits. And if you are in a situation like that, congratulations. That's really, I think, how most successful people want to be. They want to be judged and held accountable and rewarded for their efforts and results. And so, man, if you are in a company like that, thank God. But we know the truth. We know 83% of people, do not like their boss. It's high, can't stand their job. It's a tragic situation. And what's really weird about all of that is that nobody ever thought to think about the money. Nobody ever thought to think about the money. Well, what do you mean, Bob? Well, you've got people going to colleges, getting degrees, spending a fortune. I mean, just getting the bankers rich, building these huge buildings and complexes and adding administrators to these universities and mostly being taught with great respect. I say this, mostly being taught by people who've never lived in the real world. And so then they come out, and the vast majority of people, think about how stupid this is when you really think about it from an investment, a time investment even, which is more important than money. But the money investment, let's say you got $100,000 of student loans because you got that degree in a certain field, but yet you don't ever get a job in that field. Okay, so that's a mistake, and it's a very costly mistake. And for the banks, it's a wonderful mistake. They love that mistake because you'll be paying them interest for a vast majority of your life. And if you did that to co-sign a loan for your kids, welcome to parenting for another 20 years as you pay off the interest and principal on that. Listen, no one's condemning you. My kids got some small student loans when my financial fortunes turned around for the third time, and the final time, I believe. I was able to pay those off for them and help them get completely out of debt. But that's not really the story. The story of you or I spending too much money, I got in trouble on credit cards when I was 21 years old. I never, ever got in trouble on credit cards again, meaning I always made the payment after that. And so you kind of learn, that's what being young's all about, is making mistakes and learning. And hopefully, as you progress, getting closer to your 30s, that you've now grown. And now, and by the way, it spams, it'll probably happen again. And so now, okay, so you're becoming an adult, at 25, 30, whatever. Okay, so I made those mistakes. I've learned from those mistakes. But now I'm in a job that's paying me 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, $100,000 a year, and I still can't make ends meet. What's the deal? How comes that? Why is that? Well, it's just the reality. Number one, inflation. Do not believe that inflation is only whatever they're saying now, 6%, which is horrific. It's significantly higher because what they do is they bundle up things trying to make it seem better than it really is. You see, your real inflation numbers are really about 10%, maybe even higher. And remember, I was alive in Jimmy Carter days. Um, And so I've been around 18 to 20% inflation, gas lines. That could be where we're going. That's not what this is all about. But what if it is where we're going and you're listening to a guy like me who's like shouting like Paul Revere, do something about it, okay? Don't stand there. So my basic philosophy on getting ahead financially is this. Look, the game's going to be time for a while. You're going to have to give up some things. You're going to have to give up softball. You're going to have to give up bowling. You're going to have to give up the hours and hours and hours and hours of time people spend on social media playing games or, just reading what other people are doing. Um, and you're going to have to, there's a transference to get out of debt to becoming wealthy, is you've got to take the time away from the things that aren't paying you and put it into into things that will pay you. So what are some things that will pay you? A part-time job will pay you. Okay. Well, man, that's taking more time away from my family. Well, let's go ahead and go a little bit further into the future. Let's say that you don't get a part-time job, a side hustle, find a way to make money online, whatever. Okay. You're going to be spending a whole lot less time with your family in the future as your financial world crumbles and falls apart completely. Or you just live in that mess, and that's a horrible mess. The stress of not having your finances under control. So, one, you could get a part time job. And I'm going to tell you what to do with the money in whatever you choose to do. Two, you could get a side hustle. Maybe you have some special skills. Maybe adults, made you feel negative about your special skills. Maybe you can paint. Maybe you can do arts and crafts. Maybe you can, whatever they sell on Etsy. You could be on Etsy, right? Doing stuff. You could be a reseller on Amazon. That might be your thing. Not my thing. I don't want to spend time packaging stuff, but it could be your thing. You could become a picker. We follow pickers and we watch pickers. I mean, I don't really want to go through the rigmarole of finding it and reselling it kind of for average things, but I do keep my eyes out for treasures and occasionally we find them. So you can become a picker, right? People make money doing that. You could work flea markets with the stuff that you pick. There's ways of doing that. You could become an influencer. And an influencer doesn't mean you need hundreds of thousands of people. The truth is, you got 100 people following you and you give them good content, they're going to be buying what you're selling, whatever that might be. You could be an influencer, right? You can become an affiliate marketer. You can get in traditional network marketing. People still make money in traditional network marketing. Um, so there's a whole list of things. What you can't do is let the time slip by. What you can't do is escape into drugs and alcohol. What you can't do is ignore the realities of the looming debt. I mean, see, even with this moratorium on people paying rent, all it did is get pushed out again. You still owe the money. You still owe the money. You've got to take responsibility, right? So what I'm imploring you to do, well, let me tell you what we did. We jumped into a concept called social retail. It's where my industry's evolved to. It's buying and selling, helping people out through social media. And it's really the wave of the future, you know that. And so we're having tremendous success there. We're loving it. That may or may not, if it interests you, contact me. If it doesn't interest you, do one of these other things, right? Okay, so now what do you do with the money? How does this whole thing flip? You save it. Ooh, saving. There's nothing I can do. There's no interest. As a matter of fact, your money's going to lose money in the bank. But that's not the game. The game is you go find a way to generate some extra income, you save it, and then you invest in it. You invest. Become an investor, not a saver, an investor, but you've got to save to get to investing. So, to me, what would I invest in? Number one would always be real estate. I mean, 92% of the wealth generated on the planet Earth comes from real estate. So um, I'd be in real estate. And you can start slow. There's lots of ways to get into real estate. We're in real estate and we're very glad we have because it's a tremendous hedge against inflation. We've taken our savings and put some of it into Bitcoin. I believe in Bitcoin. Now, it's a new technology thing, and I'm not an expert, by the way, on any of this. I'm just telling you kind of what reality is. So we're in Bitcoin, we're in Forex, and by the way, I'm in a Forex group. If you're interested in Forex, we found the Golden Goose, our buddy Leonard. So if you want to know more about Forex, I can help you. Completely passive. Bitcoin's passive, although I'm underwater on Bitcoin. Our real estate business is completely passive. But we do our social retail. Now, check this out. Check this out. We do social retail to be able to accumulate some money, to be able to invest some money, to be able to multiply our wealth. Now, guys, I just gave you a PhD in wealth creation. Literally, if you took my advice today, your world would be completely different in 6 months because you'd be excited. You'd be working towards something. A year from now, you'd be thrilled. 5 years from now, most likely, by sticking and staying with a plan of earning extra money, save it, invest it. Earn extra money, save it, invest it. I believe you'd be financially free. Hey, let's go.